Happy Fragrant Friday, Fraghead. Hey everybody, this is Ben here at That Cologne Guy, coming at you with a very special episode indeed. I am super psyched. I'm psyched now, but as you can tell, if you're thinking to yourself, is that sweat I see? It is, and I'm sweating because I have just whittled down my all-time favorite list somehow to 10. Let me tell you something. For fragheads like you know how it is. This has been excruciating. So if it looks like I've just been through a 12-round Mike Tyson fight, it's because essentially I have in the frag world. So let's lay the groundwork for this episode. This is going to be a little bit different. You guys have demanded and requested this episode, and I'm super happy that I'm finally able to get to this. I wanted to do it towards the end of this channel because, after reviewing well over 200 and then fragrances, and then of course in my own collection and the ones I've worn over the years, it was excruciatingly difficult to get this down to, 10, but of course I miserably failed and have 2 honorable mentions. So here's what I want you to do before I start. I want you, dear viewer, to list your top 10 or just your favorites in the comment box. That's what I want you to do. I want you to put your top 10 all time, not current, but all time. And if it's not 10, no one's going to care. The good news of this channel is I don't do anything like, top 10 designer, top 10 niche, top 10 cheapies. This is the all-time list, and let's dive in. Here's the problem. I had 4 honorable mentions. So I don't know. Should I just go with it? I mean, yeah. No, I'm going to stick with the 2. I had 2 on there that I used to wear a long time ago, and I felt like I needed to pay homage to that. That said, I'm going to stick with just 2 honorable mentions, and that is because one of them is one that you guys know how this is. I first smelled it at a department store, and I was dreaming about that fragrance until I actually got the bottle, and that is Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. If you follow my channel, I typically slip and say Dolce y Gabbana and say it in Spanish. I'm not sure why, because it's an Italian company, but it's Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. Of course, I like the original better than the reformulation, but I still like that one as well, meaning the reformulation. I can't say it cracks the top 10, but you know what I wanted to do with my honorable mentions? I mean, I did look at number of bottles bought, right? That has to be said. And I mean, I've always had at least 1 bottle of Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme in my collection since I first started wearing it. So that needs to make it onto the list somehow. So it's my honorable mention number 1. Number 2 is, number 2 is a sneaky one. Number 2 is one that others didn't care for so much. I'm a big fan of Lalique as a house, and I'm going to go with Lalique Pour Homme. I'm going to go with that one because, again, I've had so many bottles of it, and I feel like that needs to have representation, right? I actually really enjoy Ancre Noire and Ancre Noire à l'extrême a lot. But I will say there's something about Lalique Pour Homme. I don't think I can put it into words. I can only say that obviously I've shelled out a lot of cash over the years for this, so that needs to be on here somehow. So that's my honorable mention number 2. Okay, so I'll have to put in a drum roll or something, and again, sweating bullets over here. For those of you who have seen Airplane, the movie, I think it was 1980. I think it's a 1980 release, 79, 80, 81, around there. It's a great comedy, and whenever he drives the plane and has problems, he's sweating and has to wipe his brow like this, but it's not just normal sweat. He's like soaked. So that's how I was when I was whittling this down to 10. And just for you guys, sometimes people say, "Oh, how come you didn't rank them?" Usually what I say is once you make it into my top whatever, then you make it in. You know what? Just because are my Patreon viewers, just because you are the hey, buy him a cup of coffee viewers. Over the years, I'm going to go ahead and rank them. It was excruciating, very difficult, but let's go. Number 10 is Eau Sauvage Parfum. And I'm going to put the 2012, but I have the 2017. Either one would make it, but man, boy, would I love to have, if I could get my hands on 2012. Just a great example of what minimalism can do when it's at its best. That is just a superb fragrance. And probably, if you guys like these terms, I don't really care for terms, but it's probably the most gentlemanly, mature gentleman one on the list. I don't know. I just like it a lot. Eau Sauvage Parfum 2012, but I'll just put, or 17. Either one would make it at number 10. No list would be complete without Lidge. Coming in at number 9 is L'Instant de Guerlain Extrême. I would even, if you wanted to take off the Extrême and just make it Lidg, L'Instant de Guerlain, I would allow that one as well at number 9. Either one, really. And kind of why, perfumes are made, isn't it? I mean, there's something that is so addicting about all of these, but especially L'Instant de Guerlain Extrême. I got that one late in the game, and I'm so happy that I did, because that one has been a true home run for me. All right, number 8. Number 8 is one of the few that, I think it's the only one on this list, actually, that I actually did not care for in the beginning when it first came out, and I smelled it. It was either airport or department store, and that is Terre d'Hermès. I'm kind of lukewarm on the ones that come out and get a lot of play, right, and a lot of hype. I typically kind of sit back and wait on those, and then I smelled it and I was like, okay, I don't even know what's going on there. It's like orange peels, and then I wore it, and so that one is another one that I would even go so far as to say is an honor to wear. I adore that one, and it has just skyrocketed up my list over the months since I first sampled it, and then of course got a bottle of it. So that is Terre d'Hermès. I think I have the EDT, but again, same thing is going to apply. EDT or EDP, I really don't care. It's going to be number 8. Terre d'Hermès definitely lived up to the hype. I've said this before. I'm not going to jump on any bandwagon, but I'm also not going to renounce something that has gotten a lot of hype just to go against the grain either. Sometimes I think people feel pressured, whether it be fragrance or music, to kind of go against something that got a ton of hype just to go against the grain, and I'm certainly not one to do that. I call it as I see it. Terre d'Hermès is at number 8. Number 7 is a recent purchase for me, although I've reviewed it twice actually, and it's another one that I just really, really appreciate, especially the more I wear it. It was always good, but I really like it the more that I try it. And I finally went out and got a full bottle, and that one is Red Tobacco by Mancera. Love the projection and longevity and sillage. That's another one that is just perfect for colder months, and it's great for people who have skin that eats up fragrance. Okay, so coming at number 6, I didn't really know where to put this one. You guys, if you watch me each week, know that I half jokingly always talk about my love, I profess my undying love for Acqua di Gio. So I went ahead and put it at number 6 because it's not my number 1 anymore. It is a sentimental favorite, but I certainly still wear it a ton, and I felt like I had to put it on the top 10 somewhere because I've had 4,312 bottles of it. And so I have a tie at number 6, which is Acqua di Gio Pour Homme, the original. And then I have Acqua di Gio Essenza, which is one that it's been discontinued, but I absolutely love that one. In fact, it's you could even make the argument it's a slightly more mature version of the original. That said, the original rules, you can say you don't like it and you'd be fibbing because anytime someone's wearing it, you can smell it, you can identify it, you always smile. People bash it, and it's just because they're jealous. Okay, so now coming in at number 5, we have a recent favorite of mine, but I can tell you now if I redo this list in 2 or 3 years, it'll still be on here, and that is Uomo by Salvatore Ferragamo. Really the only thing that I can come up with that is wrong with this fragrance is the fact that the atomizer looks like a cap, and so you immediately want to pull off the cap, but that is the atomizer itself. I don't like that. I really wish they would change the top of the bottle, because the bottle itself is awesome. This one is sweet, it's sexy, yeah, it's synthetic, so what? I don't care. I love how it smells. I just love rocking that juice. I could rock that one every single day, and that is Uomo by Salvatore Ferragamo. Just divine. Number four is another one that's been discontinued. I don't care though. This is going to stay on my list. I have a Mammoth bottle, and it is liquid gold for me because I hold on to that dearly for special occasions. And that one is Givenchy Play Intense. That one is just another one that's like coffee and sweet and sexy and manly. It's just awesome. The only thing about it is, of course, that it is has been discontinued. It is very different from Givenchy Play. If you have smelled Givenchy Play, it has that plastic smell to it, which I don't mind, but it has that smell to it. Givenchy Play Intense is like a coffee shop. It's just amazing, actually. So let's just leave it at that. All right. Givenchy Play Intense. I have the Mammoth bottle. I think it's a 5 ounce, and I will be keeping that for as long as I possibly can. Sadly discontinued. That's by Givenchy. Number 3 should be no surprise that it's in the top 3, because it's really another one that's just about perfect, actually, which is Man in Black. Man in Black it'd be hard to dethrone that one as a champion, because really one of the few things I don't really like opaque bottles. I don't know. It's really, you know how that people will say, if you don't get into something, they'll say, like, it's not that you were rejected, it's just that there were others more qualified than you, something like that. That's kind of like Man in Black. Man in Black has no weaknesses. It's just that the top 2, well, they're just slightly better. So number 3 is Man in Black by Bulgari, and that one is another one that I've had multiple bottles for. Bought the the packages. I just love all of the sets for that one, and that is number 3. Number two is Pure Malt by Thierry Mugler. That's another one. You can tell I like the sweet ones, can't you? But that one has to be up there as well. That's another one that I seem to actually have a running theme in this episode of picking ones that I love that have problems with issues with the bottle. That's another one that has the rubber bottle to it, and then you have to like cut the top so that it sprays correctly. I know people have done episodes on how to do that. I actually did that, and it works much better. But I will say Pure Havana is the one that you guys like more generally, but I am incredibly addicted to Pure Malt by Thierry Mugler, and that is a robust number 2 for me. Number one is the only fragrance that I have reviewed over the last 6 years that has garnered the coveted, and I mean coveted, sponsored, no, bonus spray. And except for Acqua di Gio, which was given for sentimental reasons. Okay, this one was not given for sentimental reasons. This one is incredibly complex. It's otherworldly. It's epic. The list goes on. Use hashtag buzzwords. You give me some other ones, and that is Jubilation 25 by Amouage. That one is, What can be said, right? It's the only fragrance out of over 200 fragrances that I have reviewed that it got 6 out of 5 sprays in my rating system. The coveted bonus spray that wasn't for emotional, sentimental reasons like Acqua di Gio. This one is gem, and it is a powerhouse. It is the king. It's number 1 on my list. This has been so much fun, actually. You know, after I'm going to go back to the single fragrance reviews pretty soon, but I have to tell you, it's kind of fun to step away from those every so often and do a list like this. I mean, it's been excruciating. You can see here, I look like I've been through, you know, a Mike Tyson fight. I guess I should update the boxer though, right? Floyd Mayweather. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. I look like I've been through an MMA fight. How's that? That's because I had to whittle it down to just 12, really top 10 plus 2 honorable mentions. Very, very difficult. And I'll just because I've got a little extra time, I will look down. I mean, look at the ones that didn't make it on this list. You know, Prada Amber, Costume National, Gerius Rouge, Dracar Noir, however you want to say it, Il by Lancetti. That's another one that was a sentimental favorite because I used to wear that back in the day. I mean, tons of bottles of it. And then In Oud by Maison Francis Kurkdjian, MFK. I mean, it was excruciating to leave those off. In fact, I better end it now before I redo this episode and add them back in because it took me long enough to whittle it down to 10. What is your top 10 all-time favorite list? I don't care if you, most of my viewers are guys, but I mean, I don't care if you're a guy and you have 2 or 3 that are like women's perfumes, but you just love them. Put them in. There are no. It's what you like. It's your top 10. I don't care if they're cheapies. Don't be bashful on. Sometimes people will say, well, you know, some other people put ones that were like $200, $300, $400 Creeds. Who cares? I mean, you can see my list is all over the place. I have more sweet than anything, but you know, I've got some niche. I've got some cheapies. I've got some fragrances that frankly make most frag heads roll their eyes, like Acqua di Gio. I mean, not too many YouTube reviewers are going to include Acqua di Gio on their top 10 all time. But then again, you know, I just keeping it real like I always do. Let me know your list. Doesn't have to be exactly 10. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great week. I will see you next week. And always remember, my friends, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. And let me tell you, there are some that were left off, and I can barely even look down at my notes without shedding a tear. It's painful. It's a cardinal sin that they did not make it onto my top 10. But hey, it's called a top 10 for a reason, right? I thought about doing a top 15. Then I thought about doing a top 20, and I thought, you know what? We're just going to make this a top 10 like we originally said. So let me do me that favor. Before I start, leave a comment down below, and that's a blooper. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, so okay. 1, 2, 3.